Well, to talk more about the UN climate reports, we're now joined by Thandile Chinyavanhu, who's with Greenpeace. Thank you so much indeed for joining us, and welcome to the programme.
Good evening, Peter, and thank you for having me.
So, the word red alert was used by the Secretary General of the United Nations. Is it that serious?
Definitely, there's a lot of strong language that has been used in this report, and it is absolutely accurate. We definitely need to recognize the intensity and severity that climate change poses to our existence and act with swift action.
Break it down for us in broad terms. What is this report telling us and why it's so urgent?
Well, this report confirms a lot of what has already been mainstreamly available in terms of climate research, but it also comes with a lot of new information with regards to climate modeling. But what's most important to draw out from this report from the public, particularly South Africans, is the impact it will have on our ecology. So specifically on southwestern parts of South Africa, we're likely to see increased levels of drought and arid conditions that may lead to water stress as well as fire conditions. And we've already begun to witness this in Cape Town. As you may recall, in 2017, we reached day zero. Areas in the Karoo have been struggling with water scarcity for quite a period of time. And the issue of concern here as well is that the indigenous flora and fauna in this area, particularly the fynbos, is quite an ecologically diverse area, and this area is threatened as a result of these climate changes that we are likely to see. So some of our national symbols of pride, such as the protea, may potentially be affected in the years to come, and you might possibly see extinction of these species should climate change continue. On the eastern southern side of South Africa, as we've witnessed earlier this year with Cyclone Eloise, we're likely to see increased levels of precipitation on that end, as well as cyclone conditions. And so these are the issues that are most concerning to us right now.
When that drought happened in the Cape Town, they talked about a day zero in terms of actually no water in the taps. Are we getting to a day zero until a point where we cannot fix the climate change story?
Well, this is a very important question that you ask, Peter, because the reality of this report, although the situation is dire, the message is quite clear that if our governments act decisively right now, we can avoid reaching that tipping point of 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels by 2030. We definitely, this is not the end. It does not symbolize a death knell for humanity, but rather it's an opportunity for us to recognize the harms and threats ahead and act decisively. So right now is not the time for climate fatalism, but right now is rather the time for action from our government.
Thandile, I was in Durban, 2011, COP17, and the language that I'm hearing now, I heard back then, and that's 10 years ago. Why do you think that we haven't taken it seriously? Because we could have done a lot by now if we had have listened to what was being said at COP17.
Well, the truth is, Peter, that our decision makers have a culture or rather a history of not heeding the warnings of experts. We've seen this with the dire situation at Eskom. There were warnings as early as 1998. Same with the water crisis that we are seeing in Cape Town. The warnings go as far back as 1990, but there is a culture of ignoring the advice of experts. And the same has been done with the climate catastrophe that we're seeing right now. The language, as you mentioned, is exactly the same. Our decision makers have had access to this science for a long period of time, but they have not acted decisively because they have prioritized the corporations such as Sasol and Eskom and the profit that they have from that. So it's quite important now.
Thandile, are you still there? All right, it looks like we may have lost her. Her picture's frozen there, but I think the message is pretty clear. We're going to try and keep raising her, but let's hope we can get her back because COP17, as I said, 2011, a lot of the messaging that we're hearing now today was shared at that platform. They did subsequently in Paris agree to move forward, but a number of countries, particularly United States in recent years under Donald Trump, not really coming to the party. But it looks as if the new administration, Joe Biden, has started to put America once again on a path in line with the rest of the world. So we're running out of time, and we really do need to demand more from our politicians and our leaders to put this issue on top of the agenda. It's no longer a nice to have. Our planet depends on the right decisions being made. All right, we move on now. International relations and